A very good morning to one and all. With the blessings of His Holiness Jagadguru Sri Shivaratri Deshikendra Mahaswamiji, and on behalf of JSS Institute of Speech and Hearing, I extend a warm welcome to one and all. No doubt that COVID-19 has had a devastating impact on all of us. Belonging to the healthcare fraternity, we were required to modify our working patterns and styles in order to adopt to the new normal. Having classes shift from the offline to online modality, having the lockdown series, and having hygienic practices at our workplace, all these practices were attributable to none other than the COVID-19 infection. This webinar will help us focus on the specific problems that we as professionals had to face while discharging our duties, and will also help us find the possible solutions to the problems. In this current webinar, we have approximately 800 registered participants. We have more than 500 plus participants who are watching this Zoom meeting streaming live on YouTube. We have 450 plus professionals, including private practitioners, academicians, and administrators who have shown interest in joining this session. We have participants across 15 colleges in the country. We have international delegates coming from countries such as United States of America, Dubai, Kuwait, New Zealand, and Australia. With this note, we will begin with the program from the invocation song by Ms. Sinchana Arya from 3rd BSLP, JSS ISH, Mysuru.
Thank you, ma'am. ಗಜಮುಖವಂದಿಸುವೆ ಗಜಮುಖವಂದಿಸುವೆ ಕರುಣಿಸಿ ಕಾಯೋ ಗಜಮುಖವಂದಿಸುವೆ ಗಜಮುಖವಂದಿಪೆ ಗಜಗೌರಿಯ ಪುತ್ರ ಗಜಮುಖವಂದಿಪೆ ಗಜಗೌರಿಯ ಪುತ್ರ ಜನಪಿತನ ಮೊಮ್ಮಗನ ಮೋಹದ ಬಾಲ ಅಜನಪಿತನ ಮೊಮ್ಮಗನ ಮೋಹದ ಬಾಲ ಗಜಮುಖವಂದಿಸುವೆ ಗಜಮುಖವಂದಿಸುವೆ ಕರುಣಿಸಿ ಕಾಯೋ ಗಜಮುಖವಂದಿಸುವೆ ನೀಲಕಂಠನ ಸುತ ಬಾಲ ಗಣೇಶನೇ ನೀಲಕಂಠನ ಸುತ ಬಾಲ ಗಣೇಶನೇ ಬಾರಿ ಬಾರಿಗೆ ನಿನ್ನ ಸ್ಮರಣೆ ಮಾಡುವೆನಯ್ಯ ನೀಲಕಂಠನ ಸುತ ಬಾಲ ಗಣೇಶನೇ ಬಾರಿ ಬಾರಿಗೆ ನಿನ್ನ ಸ್ಮರಣೆ ಮಾಡುವೆನಯ್ಯ ವಾರಿ ಜನಾಭ ಶ್ರೀ ಹಯವದನನ ಪಾದ ವಾರಿ ಜನಾಭ ಶ್ರೀ ಹಯವದನನ ಪಾದ ಸೇರುವ ಮಾರ್ಗದ ದಾರಿಯ ತೋರಿಸೋ ಸೇರುವ ಮಾರ್ಗದ ದಾರಿಯ ತೋರಿಸೋ ಗಜಮುಖವಂದಿಸುವೆ ಗಜಮುಖವಂದಿಸುವೆ ಕರುಣಿಸಿ ಕಾಯೋ ಗಜಮುಖವಂದಿಸುವೆ ಗಜಮುಖವಂದಿಪೆ ಗಜಗೌರಿಯ ಪುತ್ರ ಗಜಮುಖವಂದಿಪೆ ಗಜಗೌರಿಯ ಪುತ್ರ ಜನಪಿತನ ಮೊಮ್ಮಗನ ಮೋಹದ ಬಾಲ ಅಜನಪಿತನ ಮೊಮ್ಮಗನ ಮೋಹದ ಬಾಲ ಗಜಮುಖವಂದಿಸುವೆ ಗಜಮುಖವಂದಿಸುವೆ ವಂದಿಸುವೆ ಕರುಣಿಸಿ ಕಾಯೋ ಗಜಮುಖ ವಂದಿಸುವೆ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.
Thank you, Sinchana, for the melodious invocation. I now request Dr. N.P. Nataraja to give us a brief background about this webinar.
First of all, I would like to submit my pranams to His Holiness Sri Jagadguru Sri Shivaratri Deshikendra Mahaswami Ji. I take this opportunity to welcome all my teachers, seniors, colleagues, and friends who responded to my request to take part in this webinar. This idea of having the webinar was given by Dr. Kalyani Manke when she texted the problems of COVID-19 in terms of training the students on the WhatsApp speech and hearing group. After reading that, I felt that we must try to provide a platform to have a discussion on this. And this is an enormous problem which has shaken the whole world rather in different ways to different people. It has not left the speech and hearing. And of course, definitely it is affecting the hearing. Of course, it has been my personal experience too now. In fact, so I started contacting possible people who will be interested in this and who could talk about it, contribute about it. Starting from Dr. Ratna, Professor Rosa, to our young friends like Nandu, Ranjit, and all the youngsters also. Today, and of course tomorrow, we are also deliberating on this. I hope we'll get some good, fruitful discussions and try to find some solutions for the problems that we're facing. I once again take this opportunity to welcome Dr. Ratna, chief guest, who is inaugurating, and also our senior most professional, Professor R.K. Oza, who have been very kind to me always, have agreed to be with us and advise us regarding this problem. I welcome both of you, sir. I also welcome all my friends and colleagues who kindly agreed to take part in this. I also welcome all the participants who have shown keen interest in large numbers rather. I hope and wish it will stimulate them to think more about it. I thank all my colleagues at JSS for their cooperation, and I welcome them also, both from Mysore as well as Dharwad. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Despite of his health conditions, Sir has made sure that he has actively participated and contributed in each and every step of planning and execution of this program. I thank you, sir. I now request Dr. Asha Yathiraj, Professor in Audiology, JSS ISH Mysuru, to deliver the welcome address.
Shikendra Mahaswamiji, it is my privilege to welcome everyone to this webinar on impact of COVID-19 on speech and hearing profession, professionals, and patients. This is a second welcome after Dr. Nataraja's welcome. We are honored to have two pioneers in the field of speech and hearing gracing this inaugural function, one as a chief guest and one as who will be delivering the keynote address. Dr. Ratna holds a master in the education of the blind from Hunter's University, USA, and then later went on to have do his master's in speech and hearing at Gallaudet College, as well as Indiana University. He also got his doctorate in education in Indiana University. He has held several positions in USA as well as in India. But most importantly, he has served as the director of the All India Institute of Speech and Hearing, AISH, at Mysore, and also as the director of Aligarh Jung National Institute for...
Sorry to interrupt you, ma'am. Your voice is very low, ma'am. It is not audible clear to all.
Yeah, we can't hear.
Yes,
hear.
ma'am.
We have lost the first part.
Can I? Okay. Is this better?
Ma'am,
I'm just
yes.
getting closer to...
Yes, ma'am. It is better, ma'am. But still, it is not very loud kind.
Okay. I was introducing Dr. Ratna, and I don't think we need any introduction of him, but still many of us think of him only in the terms of speech and hearing, but he's also got a master's in education of the blind from the Hunter's University, a master's in speech and audiology from Gallaudet College, and Indiana University, a doctorate in education also from Indiana University. He has held several positions in USA as well as in India. Most importantly, he has served as the director of All India Institute of Speech and Hearing at Mysore, and as the director of Aligarh Jung National Institute for Hearing Handicapped at Mumbai, currently known as AYJ, National Institute of Speech and Hearing Disability. Dr. Ratna was the founder of this institute in 1985. He has contributed tremendously to the field of speech and hearing in India, and also to education of those with hearing impairment. He has won several awards, most notably the Padma Shri Professor Kameshwaran Endowment Oration Award in 2003 and the S.S. Ray Award. He has, besides doing work in speech and hearing, has written, acted, as well as directed many plays in Kannada as well as in English. He has also acted in several Kannada films. We are really honored to have you here as our chief guest, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Professor Ramesh Oza, who's going to be delivering our keynote address, has got his master's in audiology and speech pathology at City University of New York. This was after he got a postgraduate diploma in occupational therapy from KEM Hospital, Mumbai. He also has held several positions, but notably, he was the director of occupational therapy school, Government Medical College and Hospital at Nagpur. And he was invited by BYL Nair Hospital to start the audiology department in 1965. He served as a professor and head of audiology and speech therapy at this institute and started the first training program in the whole of Southeast Asia. He was also the director of EAR Center and School, Mumbai, and has not only done pioneering work in India, but started a complete audiology and speech therapy unit at Indonesia. He has been the president of several organizations, notably ISHA and the SIGI, the Cochlear Implant Group of India. He also has received several awards, and like Dr. Ratna, has awards in his name. Currently, he runs the Calypsonic Speech and Hearing Center in Mumbai, and is probably the longest serving speech and hearing professional in India. When I talked to him a few days back, he had just finished a session, online session, and today he was telling us he still goes to his clinic, and we look forward to listening to your keynote address, sir. Shri R. Mahesh, the Director of Medical Education Division, JSS Mahavidyapeeth, Mysuru, has always supported us in all our activities. Your support is highly appreciated, sir. A hearty welcome to you. This entire webinar was the brainchild of Dr. N.P. Nataraja, as you just heard. The sir, who is the director of JSS ISH, has encouraged us tremendously to conduct webinars, and this one was conducted just in a span of less than 2 weeks. We welcome you, sir. Dr. Suma Raju, principal of JSS ISH, works hard towards the functioning of this institute. We cordially welcome you. A warm welcome to all the resource persons from India as well as abroad, and a big welcome to all the participants who are coming and joining us in great numbers. I hope you benefit from this webinar. A warm welcome to our team who has worked to get this program going, especially Dr. Saransh and Vipin. And I just hope all of us benefit from this program and are able to overcome a lot of the problems that we are facing during this COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. You have played a significant role in fine-tuning and execution of this webinar. I also extend a warm welcome to you too in this webinar. In order to have an auspicious beginning, we will now have a virtual lamp lighting ceremony. May I now request Ms. Kripa to kindly play the video. May I now request Dr. N. Ratna, the chief guest for today's program, to address the gathering.
Friends, my pranams to the Swamijis of Holy Suttur Mutt in Mysore and Suttur.
Can't
and
hear.
to all of you on this occasion. It's a great pleasure for me to inaugurate this webinar, which I think is a very relevant one at this point of time in our lives. The pandemic of COVID-19 has not only affected all people, as all pandemics do. Can't hear you. Hold on. I've been speaking loud. We'll try again.
Can't hear.
Can't see you also.
Try
sir.
again. I think I'm speaking loudly.
We wish to see you also, sir. We wish to see also. See and hear both.
I'll wait to be seen.
No audio.
No audio, no video.
Moses, your system's volume also you may increase. In fact, I faced a similar issue like yours. I just increased the system's audio and I am able to hear Dr. Rana clearly.
You are able to hear me, but then
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes, yeah, we are able to hear you, but we can't see you, sir.
I don't know why, but my
Yeah, we have also. I got the maximum volume on my computer, but can't get anything.
Okay, sir. Okay.
but I don't know why my
I
camera
think
is
my
not
hearing
working.
is okay.
But okay, but I don't know why my camera is not working. Now it's working.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, now it's working. Yes, yes.
Thanks to my daughter. Yes.
Daughters always come to the rescue of fathers.
All right. Good morning, everybody.
Good
Friends,
morning.
I begin with pranams to the holy Swamijis of Suttur Mutt and to all of you today. It gives me great pleasure to inaugurate this very important, relevant webinar, which I believe should throw light on our future efforts in this regard. The pandemic of COVID-19 has not only affected all people, as all pandemics do, but it has affected all our lives in all ways, all ways. And many of our people have been stuck with COVID, including now Dr. Nataraj himself, right, and his family right now. But then we've also lost a lot of people from both from our own field and elsewhere, very close people, very dear friends of ours. But more equally importantly, our profession itself has been affected. For one thing, it's now known that COVID seems to have impact on hearing problems. Strangely enough, though it affects breathing, we haven't heard much about voice problems that are speech problems, communication problems that the breathing problems have caused. But then, in addition to all this, COVID-19 has, as Kalyani Manke pointed out, affected our training programs. One, online teaching is very good. It's a wonderful thing because COVID-19 has done one thing. It has helped us develop some innovative approaches to our teaching, our clinical practice, and all that. And that's a new thing, very, very useful thing. I'm sure it will stand us in good stead in future. But there are certain clinical interventions and interactions which are impossible online. I mean, clinical demonstration is not as effective as practical, real demonstrations. But then there are certain kinds of interventions and interactions that cannot be done online. For example, dysphagia therapy or therapy with multiple disabilities. It's very, very difficult to do it purely online. And then it's very difficult to do it without an actual person-to-person contact. So we'll have to find ways of overcoming that problem. In addition, all said and done, our practical therapy training, supervision becomes affected because there's a limit to what we can achieve online. So we have this great difficulty in our teaching profession. We have difficulty in providing therapy, and we have difficulties in recording therapy. I mean, the values of the progress in therapy. So in every way, we are affected, and I do hope that this webinar will consider all these problems and provide a guideline for possible future efforts, trials and techniques by which we can overcome most of the problems that we face in this regard. I do wish this webinar great success, and I congratulate the JSS Ish and Dr. Nataraja and the whole team for having planned this webinar, and I wish them all success. Thank you all. Good luck.
Thank you, sir. It is really a privilege to have you with us today. Thank you for giving us a good start for this webinar. May I now request Professor Ramesh K. Oza to deliver the keynote address.
Thank you very much, all of you. My special thanks to Dr. Nataraj and Dr. Asha Yatiraj and the entire team for fine-tuning this particular program, which was the brainchild of Professor Natarajan. I wish him fast recovery and get back to his routine and his guidance to the students and staff of the institute. Shri R. Mahesh, Director of Medical Education, Dr. Suma, Principal and Professor at JSS-ISH, Dr. Ratna, my good friend, my dear friend, and all the participants. This particular problem, or the point of the impact of COVID on the profession, professionals, and students was originally raised by Dr. Kalyani Manke, and rightly so. COVID has played havoc internationally. People have suffered. Those who were saved suffering found their way in the heart of Almighty, but left behind, totally ruined, I would say, families, and also affecting various institutions where the senior staff became the COVID tragedies. Medical profession has come to the help of COVID program as a whole over the country. And probably we are the best medical teams all over the country that have handled this particular problem so efficiently. The entire team of doctors, nurses, ward boys, administrators, all put together, have done their level best. There has been criticism of handling the situation, but I guess in a country like India, where we have huge population and also the planned criticism from different levels has luckily not affected the government's program of controlling the pandemic. Now, if it's an all India problem, I'm not talking about the international implications. But to look at it from our Indian perspective, I do find that we have suddenly faced a problem. Highlight has always been on the COVID as a problem and its treatment, the medical aspects. But various professions complementary to the medicine, like physio, occupational therapy, audiology, and speech path, hardly anybody has touched. These are the professions where you can't maintain distance. Physical proximity up to a point is necessary in order to establish the rapport with the patients. It is necessary to correct their physical and physiological structure versus function. Their therapy has to be well controlled and well implemented with proper supervision. Modern technology of online treatment procedures is one of the substitutes, not really a good substitute. I won't call it a poor substitute, but really not the substitute that we all as professionals would be looking at. Many patients have suffered and are suffering because they can't come to the clinic, they cannot be treated online with even in spite of the best efforts. And we also find that therapists have limitations in terms of the equipment required to carry out the online treatment, and also the various software required for the as a part of our teaching programs to the patient, or therapeutic, various therapeutic tools. On the other side, in last 1 year, many younger audiologists and speech therapists have come up with various softwares, various teaching aids for different conditions, whether it is aphasia, articulation problem, autism, communication disorders in children. But at the same time, we do find a big gap in terms of the interpersonal relationship, which is so very important between a therapist and the patient, between the therapist and the parents. This is a gap which is very difficult to bridge, and therefore it may not be 100% substitute for the offline programs that we are used to conduct all these years. I see in this one more possibility at this stage, that we learn from this COVID disaster, that we as individual therapists, we as audiologists, teaching institutions, and various other departments that are connected with development of special software and programs to face similar future situations, so that our therapists are not left high and dry, and they have access to various softwares for the therapy and the connection with the patient and the families. It is going to be time consuming, but we have got enough time now to prepare for the future. Even if we think in terms of the training programs, students have suffered the most because it is online. If it was possible to learn everything online, where was the need for so many institutions? What a teacher can teach in a classroom. But a teacher can also find out who is attentive and who is sleepy in the classroom. Well, that's beside the point, but yes, the personal contact with the students, the interaction between the student and teacher, the spontaneous interaction is certainly lacking in spite of the best efforts by the institutions to give to their students whatever maximum facility they can for the clinical work. However, I would say in most of the clinics, most of the institutions, hospitals, clinical work has suffered because of the laws that govern the distancing and also the other safety measures like masking. It's not very comfortable situation. It is very easy to say we should do something. Yes, I agree we should do something. And now we have the time and opportunity to do that, something which will make teaching programs for the students a lot more effective by way of creating a big library of various clinical conditions, videos on various clinical conditions that would show or demonstrate organic problems, structural, physiological problems, the effect of communication, effect in communication with the lesions in the brain, aphasia, dysarthria, apraxia. In theory, they would have learned a lot. But how to diagnose, what tests to give, how to give those tests can be taught online for a limited number of groups. And I think in most of the institutions, subject to correction, each class is not for more than average 20 students. And it becomes not difficult. But for that purpose, teaching institutions and resourceful audiologists and speech pathologists will have to cooperate to create the library of various videos on various conditions, as I mentioned. To a certain extent, I have observed that many times, some of the professionals and students do miss on the webinars that are held or the classes that are conducted. Partly because of very poor communication channels, particularly internet connections, as we have observed today also, and as I have observed in the previous webinars. There are blanks. There are periods when there is no signal. However, with the best of the efforts that they make, they try to learn. But it is not just the problem of offline interaction with the students, patients, and the staff. It is the other related issues to conduct these programs and make them more effective, both in terms of auditory as well as what I would call the visual channels. Students are feeling very uneasy. They are going to lose precious time. government and universities are not making or taking any decisions on how this problem for the professional courses has to be dealt with. Examinations, one cannot think because there are so many uncertainties. Who will bring an end to this? A big question mark. Whatever representations we from our professional organizations make, government has its own reasons, as they say, for the delay in decision making. Partly they are right, because COVID has been the most unpredictable disease or infection which cannot be predicted. And therefore, even government doesn't want to take chance, nor we as individuals and institutions in the group. Certain problems are bound to be there, and we might have to live with it until we find the solutions. When lockdown eases and we come to as good as normal conditions, whether for a few days, few months, or a year or more, and utilize that time to develop suggestions which the institutions can work out in collaboration with various persons, professionals who are also in private practice. Problems faced by those in private practice today are far more than what the institutions may find. The biggest problem that I have seen and which my colleagues in Mumbai find is financial worries. Their setups cannot be closed down completely. Certain overheads have to be met. They have to have certain income. They are trying their level best to use online programs, but it cannot be the same. It is not all that very easy to fit a hearing aid, to do an audiogram. I have seen several programs being run online by different companies and things. But when it comes to practical issues, it is very difficult. Home visits for audiometry, home visits for hearing aid fitting are probably possible in certain cases. But then you have to think of the safety of the patients, safety of the therapists, which is very important, equally important, and safety of the family members. And this restricts the home visits. I personally feel that home visits have to be worked out extremely carefully with all measures taken to prevent passing on the infection. Senior citizens particularly. In some places, out of their anxiety not to lose the patient, people have been visiting. But the feedback given to me by some of them has not been very encouraging in terms of not proper measures taken. So this particular aspect also restricts the practice of private clinicians. Multiple problems are there. We have, on the other side, become more innovative also. And I have seen younger generation or youngsters who are practicing with wonderful ideas and who are making good effort to create various programs which can be utilized as a part of their online therapy program. Major issue that most of us, the beginners, feel is the lack of proper instrumentation available to an average practitioners. Computer is not the only thing. If they want to design something, they have to collaborate with technical persons and also to utilize whatever they develop, proper knowledge of handling the equipment is very important. I see not one problem, but multiple problems, multiple issues, and they all need equal attention. But taking overview of last 1 year, I do feel today majority of our practitioners have found some alternative or the other. And yet I feel that the one who still suffers the most are the students and their anxiety, their stress levels. Patients have been complaining, sir, how long am I going to wait and remain deaf? Or how long my father will be without therapy? Because therapy involves person-to-person contact. And that is dangerous with senior citizens or cases with cerebral issues following COVID. I have no answer, frankly speaking. PPE and all the gear that goes with it does not make your therapy program at home effective. And therefore, that limitation is there, which is coming in the way of professionals, clinicians who are practicing, and the patients. A lot of counseling is also being done online, and this counseling has its effects. But there are some over-anxious parents. I'll give you my recent example of what an over-anxious parent can do out of over-anxiety for the condition of his or her child. She wanted to do online consultation. She made the payment a day before the weekend and then starts immediately asking how soon can I get the appointment? Number of people waiting for online because we have limitations even in doing online. And you have to give priority as per the, first come, first serve, and the list that you have. However, her impatience within 36 hours took her to a public, online program. Sorry, I don't get the right word for it, but that is what we see today in tweets and other similar programs, and wrote that, I hope this is not a fraud, I'm not getting immediate appointment. I had to respond to it because that was not right. And you have to learn to face them with absolute facts presented so that whosoever reads the reply knows that what was said was out of understanding the situation that is there in the present COVID days. This has happened to quite a few people, I understand. But we have to face it. We have to have patience to explain to them why, what we are doing, or why we are not able to give them immediate appointments. But then we can understand that it's not an emergency, medical emergency. Well, effect on the profession now, it cannot be separated from the effect of the clinicians. Effect on clinicians, the clinical programs, teaching programs, it is all intertwined. Professionals who have graduated, professionals who have done their advanced studies, professionals who have been practicing, find it very difficult. Also, in terms of the socio-economic deprivation. And even at personal level, home quarantine for those even are not COVID patients because of the restrictions on moving out or the safety measures that family members have to take. Because of the online working from home has also caused its own problems. A family in which mother or father were not seen before 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening or up to maybe 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning are now facing each other, including children. Parents have to work with the child for online programs. Parents have to work for their own duties on the job online. And God help those who have lost their jobs. And I'm happy in a way that our professionals who are employed by the institutions, most of them have not lost their jobs. So economically, they are partially, because I know some of the institutions have cut down on the salaries. But still, they are not as bad off as those who are unemployed. We have to find some ways. And that I hope during these sessions on this webinar, more solutions will come. And yet at the end of it, there will be questions which will have to be answered, which may require some more discussions online or offline. And I hope we get this offline so that personal contacts in seminars and in conferences will bring a lot more solutions than the problems. Today, we are trying out, we are discussing the possibilities, but its implementation is likely to take time. All thoughts and ideas have to be put together, and whatever is maximally practical has to be included in the future programs that we work out. God help, but if we have another problem like what we have today, we will be equipped with the solutions for our patients, for our students, and for our professionals themselves. A lot can be said, but this is not the venue where you have limited time. But I must say, good work is done by so many of our teaching institutions, and also the companies who are involved in our work. by sponsoring seminars, by sponsoring rather not the seminars as webinars on audiometry, hearing aid fitting, on online programming, and lots of other things. Same thing is true where our seniors and training institutions are conducting programs on various speech and hearing conditions. I hope this trend will continue and improve in terms of presentations through various visual cues and visual material to make it as real as one can. But it won't be the same. I was just reading on Facebook one small, I saw one small picture of an old man who is got a mobile in his hand and he's telling, I gave my mobile for repairs because it was not working. Company said your mobile is working fine. There is no problem. So I brought it back and I looked at it and I realized my children are not making any effort to contact me. I was born alone. I'm now living alone. And I will die alone. What a tragedy for old people, whether they are there with their better half or single. This is the situation. But silver lining to it is that many social organizations are forthcoming with help for those which are affected with COVID, those who are senior citizens and no one to look after them, and in many other social situations, helping out in terms of medical treatment, in terms of food, in terms of whatever company they can do. In speech and hearing, we have to now make combined effort. We are here to be more constructive. We may make mistakes, nobody is perfect. But unless we make mistakes, we won't learn. We always have learned in the past from the mistakes that we have made. But if it ends up in creation of something which will solve the problem rather than raise the questions of the problems, all problems cannot be solved immediately or altogether. We have to take one by one. This is the time when we have to divide the problems between the institutions so that you can work with concentration on those issues and prepare necessary remedies which will help us in such difficult times. I want to thank you all for being patient, for taking part in this webinar, particularly Dr. Nataraj, whom I have known as since student days, who was the first who started the speech science lab in the country and did so much work on voice. I want to thank you, Nataraj, for all the efforts you are making, but now is the time. Take rest, be safe, eat, drink water more as required. We want you back soon, but not so soon that you don't take care of post-COVID precautions that everybody has to take who have gone through COVID. Thank you very much. God bless you all and keep away from this condition. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It was an immense pleasure to have you with us today. Through your address, you have helped us identify the unseen gaps that the novel coronavirus has left amongst our profession as well as our professional practices. Thank you very much, sir. Due to unseen circumstances, Shri R. Mahesh, Director Medical Education Division, is unable to be with us today. So we will now have the vote of thanks. May I now request Dr. Suma R., Principal and Professor, JSS Institute of Speech and Hearing, to propose the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Sanjana. First of all, I would like to seek the blessings of His Holiness Jagat Guru Shri Shivaratri Deshikendra Mahaswamiji. It gives me an immense pleasure. I should say it's my honor to propose a vote of thanks because all my teachers and colleagues are here. It's a chance again to show our gratitude to them. On behalf of our institute, JSS Institute of Speech and Hearing, I would like to extend a heartfelt vote of thanks to our chief guest, Dr. N. Ratna, who inaugurated this webinar. He has been with us throughout our journey. He's seeing the growth of our institute and he's witnessing all the activities of our institute. I would like to thank you again, sir, for gracing this occasion. Thank you, sir. And I would like to extend a great thanks to Professor Ramesh K. Oza. Sir, your talk was really enlightening us, and thank you for spending your time and sharing your thoughts with us, all AIM professionals. Thank you again, sir. And our sincere gratitude goes out to all our resource persons. In fact, I'm very much tempted to, list all the resource persons who are involved in this. But due to lack of time, as a whole, I'm thanking all of them who are able to spend their busiest, time with us and, making attempts to enlighten all the professionals and our students. And I think all of you would agree with a point what I am saying, that is this type of program cannot happen overnight. So it has taken a lot of time of our faculty. So I take this occasion to thank our director, Dr. N.P. Nataraja, who has been behind the scene working on this webinar. And I won't miss out to thank my faculty who have been very cooperative and working hard to make this webinar a successful one. Thank you, all of you. And at the end, but not less important, I would like to thank all the professionals who have registered this to this webinar and who are also watching the program on YouTube live. So you are the ones who are making this program a great success. So I would like to thank all the participants for joining this webinar. So with I would like to thank one and all who have been working for this and also participating in this webinar, and kindly excuse me if I have left